Hello and welcome back to BS Rugby and welcome to this week's URC review show. The URC was back this week after a break due to the November internationals, and what a weekend of rugby it was on and off the field. As always, if you go on to enjoy this one, please do give the video a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new as well. It's free to do. Let me know your thoughts on your team's performance this weekend in the comments down below, and be sure to follow my socials, all linked down below, as I breaking rugby news on there pretty often. Let's start out with Friday night's fixture that saw Connacht get a very comfortable win against the Ospreys, winning down at the sports ground 46 points to 18 in the pouring rain. The conditions were horrific, but credit has to go to the home side, who played some exquisite stuff throughout the evening. Jack Carty at 10 dictating absolutely everything. They scored some scintillating tries, scoring 8 of them, and they just looked to spread the ball about, even though you'd have to say that the weather really shouldn't permit that type of rugby. From an Ospreys point of view, it was a really disappointing night out in Ireland. Really, no game plan, didn't seem to have a decent game plan, couldn't do the basics very well, and at the end of the day, everything just seemed to go to pot. And as an Ospreys fan, it was a really frustrating watch, especially after the positive start we've had to the URC. We just couldn't string more than 5 passes together at points. We saw Luke Morgan sent to the sin bin as well, and it was just a very difficult night for the whole team. Shout out has to go to this man, Mac Hansen, who was absolutely phenomenal for Connacht, just running absolutely everywhere. Beautiful feet and finding the try line as well. He was exceptional. What a signing he has been from the Brumbies for this side. If we take a look at the stats, then you can just see how dominant this Connacht side were. Sorry, 7 tries scored for Connacht, 2 for the Ospreys, 57% possession to the 43 of the Ospreys, 13 clean breaks to only the 1 of Ospreys, 23 defenders beaten to the 15 of Ospreys, and then 11 offloads to the 2 of Ospreys. It was a very comfortable night, and as you can see from those stats, it was just very obvious how Connacht were going to go and play, and they were able to manage the conditions very, very well, and it didn't seem to affect them whatsoever. Next up for Connacht then is a Irish derby against Leinster on Friday night, while Ospreys welcome Ulster to the Swansea.com stadium on the Saturday. First game on the Saturday then was Benetton against Glasgow, and it was a dramatic game down in Treviso. Incredible scenes as Benetton beat Glasgow Warriors with the final kick of the game, winning this one by 19 points to 18. And really, you felt it was more of a case of Glasgow losing the game than Benetton truly winning it. Benetton were decent throughout, really. You know, they played some good stuff, but Glasgow, just very simple mistakes, very simple errors throughout the game, and the game was pretty much in the balance. You know, Glasgow were leading going into the final few minutes of the game. They give away a silly penalty just outside their own 22, allowing Benetton to get down the field and to have the line out, and then they're giving another silly penalty away to give an opportunity for the 19-year-old fly half to step up and kick the ball over. And the thing to make it even more interesting was the fact that the fly half had actually missed the kick about 2 minutes before from quite a similar position to potentially win the game earlier. But scenes in Benetton as they beat Glasgow Warriors by 19 points to 18. It's the second time that they've beaten a Scottish side this season with the final kick of the game. And Danny Wilson spoke about it afterwards. He said, "We did shoot ourselves in the foot. A very disappointing performance, and that will certainly be something they'll be looking to work on in the week." If we have a look at the stats, again, looking at the stats, really, it should have been only one team winning this game. 2 tries scored, possession 57% to Glasgow to the 43% of Benetton. 2 clean breaks apiece, 15 defenders beating to the 7 of Benetton, and 3 offloads to only the 1 of Benetton. Looking at the defensive stats, once again, it should only be one team winning this game. Territory 60% to Glasgow, 40% to Benetton. Number of tackles, you can see that Benetton have done considerably more than the away side. More missed tackles. Tackle success rate is higher for Glasgow, and then turnovers won then is 4 to the 4 of Benetton. But as you can see on the bottom of your screen there, it's the penalties conceded, both very high, and Glasgow there with 12. But I think it was more about where they were conceding the penalties, the timings of them, and the type of penalties they were conceding would have really frustrated Danny Wilson. But it's a big win for Benetton. Congratulations to Benetton. Big win for them. They'll be very, very happy with that result. Next weekend, then, Benetton will head over to Edinburgh for their game. While for the Warriors, they welcome the Dragons up to Scotstoun on the Saturday night. Let's move on then to the next game on the Saturday. Of course, there were postponements for the other games that we were expecting down in South Africa. More on that in just a second. We'll have a chat more about that in a second. It was the Dragons against Edinburgh down at Rodney Parade, and this one did finish a very comfortable win for the away side, 30 points to 14 in the end. I thought Dragons really were pretty fortunate to be in the game early on. Edinburgh really looking to spread the ball out, playing some fantastic things. Ben Vellacott at 9, truly running the game. The speed of ball that this Edinburgh team want to play with Mike Blair at the helm is exceptional. Honestly, it's brilliant. They're looking to spread the ball out, play quick, get quick ball, use their wingers to good effect. Kinghorn at 10, I'm not completely sold on, but I think the likes of James Lang in the centre was exceptional. And I just thought they were absolutely brilliant all night long. The Dragons just really couldn't get all that much going. It was good to see Jamie Roberts back after his injury layoff. So good to see him back playing once again for the Dragons. But the Dragons really, really struggling once again in terms of discipline. And we'll have a look at the stats now that certainly back that up. But first of all, in the attacking sense, there was really only one team in it. 4 tries for Edinburgh, securing the bonus points, 59% possession, 5 clean breaks, 21 defenders beaten and offloading 6 times. You can see the Dragons stats on your left. And then defensively, here we are then. So territory, you can just see how dominant in terms of territory that this Edinburgh side were, looking to play in the right areas of the field, understanding when it was okay to play. And then tackling wise, again, they're very dominant in that side. Also the turnovers, but it's the penalties conceded for the Dragons that will be the big frustration. They're conceding 16 penalties throughout the course of the evening to only the 5 of Edinburgh. So you could see where it was going to be tough for Dragons. When you're conceding that many penalties at this level, you're always going to get punished and you're always going to find it very, very. Let's move on then to the final game of the weekend. I'm going to take a bit of a deeper dive into this game. We're going to look at some stats a little bit more, and also we're going to have a look at some screenshots from the game that show what happened. It was, of course, Ulster against Leinster. Ulster winning at the RDS for the first time since 2013 in a really professional display, and probably should have won by more. Let's have a chat about the first try for Ulster then. This is the situation we have. Ulster were very dominant in the opening 15 minutes or so. And we have this situation where they've been going through the phases. They've been playing some nice work here. And the ball comes out to Billy Burns. As you can see, the Leinster players, 3 of them circled in the big blue circle there, are focused on Billy Burns and on Stuart McCluskey there. James Hume is on the outside. Nobody is focused on him. McCluskey takes the ball in. But all 3 of them, Robbie Henshaw and the 2 others, are focused very much so on Stuart McCluskey. The ball comes out, McCluskey gets it off to Hume. Hume has all this space to run into. I'm not too sure where the fullback is at this point, but it's a difficult decision, isn't it, for the final man here to make a decision on what to do. It's actually a very good tackle on him, but the support is there for Ulster. And over goes Greg Jones for the first score of the game at 15 minutes. So for Ulster, a little bit for Leinster, sorry, a little bit frustrating there that they couldn't quite get their defensive set sorted. But that's got to be credit to Ulster, who I thought throughout the course of the evening showed a level of physicality that they certainly needed to do. It was Leinster who would next score in this one, though. They would come through and score in this one. And it was a lovely try for them. And they did this very, very well. They got their discipline sorted. They got their physicality sorted, and they started going through the forwards, starting piling through. And as you can see, once again, it looks a little bit complicated, but do let me explain. All the white circles, of course, represent Ulster players, and all of them here are very much focused in one direction. They're looking to the left of the breakdown. Robbie Henshaw is circled, waiting for the ball. Nobody is focused on him. Nobody has picked up on him. Only John Cooney, right at the back, has noticed that potentially this could be an issue. They switch the direction of play, and it's a lovely finish from Robbie Henshaw, who the pass to him is actually not very good. It's actually quite a poor pass, but he manages to gather it off the ground, go under one tackle and stretch to go over. And at that point, it almost felt like, in a way, that this could be the moment where Leinster really stamped their authority on this game. They started to dominate physically at that point. They looked pretty solid going forward, going through a few phases, getting over the gain line continuously. But shout out to Ulster, who held their discipline, held their line. Rhea and Timoney over the ball were absolutely brilliant throughout the course of the evening, winning turnovers in key moments of the game. And Ulster would secure the victory with a last-minute try for James Hume, who was fantastic throughout the evening. As you can see here, Leinster have to go for it. They have to play. They're 3 points down with 78 minutes on the clock. The player here gets the ball. He gets tackled. It's a really good tackle from Billy Burns. Billy Burns has actually gambled quite a lot here to go for this one. He goes in, he makes the tackle, and really it's a difficult decision here for him. Does he take the ball down? Does he go to the ground and hope to recycle? But he's worried about the Ulster man coming in on that arrow there to potentially jackal over the ball. But what you've got to notice is the man outside him is a forward. He's not naturally going to have the pace of a centre, is he? James Hume reads it perfectly, intercepts it, and runs in for a fantastic try for Ulster, which they will be absolutely delighted with. And as I said, a first win at the RDS since 2013. I think Ulster deserved to win there. They controlled a lot of the game, but as the stats show, it did equal itself out throughout the course of the evening. 2 tries scored to the 1 of Leinster, 50-50% possession. Leinster actually had more clean breaks, but similar defenders beaten and offloads, so pretty similar in terms of attacking. In the defence then, let's have a look at this. In terms of territory, Ulster dominated territory. Tackles are pretty similar. Missed tackles again, once very similar. Tackle success is very similar, as well as turnovers. But once again, the penalty count for Leinster really coming to hurt them in this game. 15 penalties conceded. Very uncharacteristic from this Leinster side. Still, Ulster conceded 11, which is quite a high number. But to concede 15 at home is not a great look for this Leinster side, and they'll be pretty disappointed with that. Before we finish then, let's quickly have a chat about the situation in South Africa. I'm going to share a video with you now. Do check this video out. Let me know what you think. This is the latest on what is going down in South Africa, so have a listen. An update for you on the situation with the sides out in South Africa in the URC. First of all, we have some good news coming out of the Scarlets camp. They are now flying back to Europe from South Africa. That was about 6 minutes ago that they confirmed that. But a little bit more difficult for this side, for Cardiff Rugby. Let me tell you a little bit about this one. They are isolating in South Africa after two positive COVID cases were confirmed within the squad. This is what the statement had to say. PCR tests undertaken last night returned 2 positive results. That's what they said. They also said Cardiff Rugby continue to work with the South African Rugby Union, the Welsh Rugby Union and public health authorities, both at home and abroad, to decide the next course of action. The club are also continuing to work with all relevant authorities to secure the travelling parties return to Wales when safe and appropriate. So that is your update for you. Scarlets are at the minute flying back, while Cardiff Rugby are still trying to work a way to get back from South Africa. It is a difficult one, isn't it? As well as that, Munster are also staying in Cape Town after positive COVID cases in their camp as well. This is what they've said: in taking all precautions and prioritising the health and well-being of everyone, Munster will not travel today and will return to their hotel for an isolation period as a matter of priority. The province will await further guidance from the health authorities. So that's where things are at the minute in terms of the COVID situation out in South Africa. Scarlets on the way home. Cardiff Rugby and Munster still out there. Make sure, if you want to keep up to date on the latest with the goings on with this situation, follow my Twitter and Instagram, both linked down below. I post on there anytime there's an update, anytime that something happens, I post it on there. So make sure that you get involved with that. Links in the description down below. The final thing to do then is have a look at your predictions, see how you got on this weekend. Of course, some of you would have put your predictions in not knowing that these games in South Africa weren't going to happen, so we'll discard them. But a couple of you this week put them in, which was great to see. Sean this week backed Ospreys to get the win out in Connacht, but he wasn't right, unfortunately, on that one. Back in Glasgow to win, didn't quite get that one right. Back in Dragons to win as well, didn't quite get that one right. And back Leinster to win as well. So unfortunately for you, Sean, you didn't get any right this weekend, but better luck next week. And for Be Strong, back the Ospreys to win, which was incorrect. Back Benetton to win by 5. Benetton did manage to get the win, and the Stormers didn't play, unfortunately. But if you want to feature on next week's review show, make sure to get your predictions in the comments on the preview show, which will go out on Thursday night. So make sure to check that out. But there we go. That's our review show for the URC Game Week 6. Preview, as I said, out on Thursday. Make sure to subscribe if you've enjoyed. Leave a like, comment your thoughts down below. And of course, follow my Twitter and Instagram and Facebook page to keep up to date with all the latest goings on in the rugby world. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you watching tonight, and enjoy your evening. Peace.